Tony,
Jason, you watching?
it's gonna be okay.
I love you guys.
Tony broke his race car. We gave him a perfectly good race car that was going straight, right?
It was.
It was going really good, and then he takes it out 3 times, and now it's back.
I broke it and did my toy. Did you see my text?
Yeah. And he texted, I know that he texted me first because I'm the nice one, and then he texted Brad like, Jason already said you could fix it.
I didn't want you to know that. Brad's been pretty patient with me.
Yeah,
he
he
just
wants to
smiles and says, yeah, bring it down.
Well, he just likes messing with the blower car.
They had it right. I honestly cannot for the life of me figure out how that bar come loose. Never had a 4-link bar come loose.
Yeah, I don't know either. It just rattles and shakes so much that everything comes loose on it. So it's just part of the equation when you're talking about a blower car. But I guess we're going to work on it today. And then they're going to try to go to Edgewater this week and test it before. Where are you going to go, Maryland?
No, Minnesota.
Where the heck's Minnesota?
It's like 14 hours away. So we can make it, but we have to leave no later than Wednesday at 4.
Yeah.
And then drive straight through.
Tony's on a new team. He's worried they're going to kick him off now.
I'm scared to death they're going to kick me off. But let me be 100% honest. The way I've been running, I would kick me off if I was the team captain.
Yeah.
And let's face it, we don't, like our era, we didn't all get trophies. We had to work for it, right?
Yeah.
So we don't get safe spaces. We don't. So I mean, it is what it is.
You need a safe space.
I do. I'm here. I'm in my safe space.
He thought he broke the anti-roll bar, or it did break a link.
It broke the right rear link, and we replaced that. But it's just driving real wonky. I mean, I don't.
So I'd say Brad, I start looking. We'll look at all that over, looking for cracked tubes, something that, you know, where the 4-link's mounted. Make sure there's nothing there, something that's causing the car to move or do something stupid. So then he brought some extra shocks with him, things like that. So we'll just go over it all and see what we figure out.
Oh.
I took off Tony. Got no legs, Lieutenant Dane.
Well, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dane.
This wrap way better.
Oh, this thing looks good.
Brandon Bowen is on his wrap this year.
Oh, nice. He kills it. Everything he does. Oh yeah, as soon as he sends the picture, I was like, oh, that's it.
Yep,
That's it.
The picture's really good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Photographs.
It pictures really
You know what I'm
good.
talking
Picture
about.
good.
You know what I was
This
talking
picture,
whoa.
this thing pictures more better this year.
about. I'm a race car driver.
How's being a crew chief? Sucks.
I think I've quit at least 9 times per race. Hey, don't scratch up.
It's not as glamorous.
No, not even close.
Dang.
Where's it at?
There's always a specific way that you have to rack each car. And we forgot the combination on this deal.
I'll be honest, I'm not normally the one that racks it anyway. I'm trying to help, but I don't know.
Can you hand me one of the long extensions? Should be up.
Did you take the head?
Yeah.
So Dalton had to come back over and fix it again.
Huh?
So Dalton had to come over here and supervise it again.
well.
He doesn't want to leave this bag.
He can work on it now. It's like anything to get me away from rear end. I'm in. Did it break just the Heim or?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying.
Oh, your 4-link Heim or your anti-roll?
Anti-roll Heim.
Bastard top one. It literally was bent and snapped. It wasn't even snappy.
There's a lot of leverage on these big tire cars. You got this anti-roll that's this wide instead of got a little bit of leverage on it. And it was still driving funny after you put that in.
Yeah. So here's one thing I noticed. I set it hanging. It was neutral. We made one pass, come back, it's tight. And these were pretty even last time. The threads on them.
Yeah, now you're
Now they're not.
Shock sensor, wasn't there something at the top of it smashed or something?
Yeah, it crushed the top of the shock sensor breaker. Folded it.
Wheel hop hard or
Oh, God.
the shape real bad?
Oh, bad.
Bad violence.
This one's growing so much it's melting the wrap off the top where it's rough.
Yeah.
You see it from there. Yeah. That's because I gotta put them tubs in and sunk them up so high. So we can get this thing low.
Nothing really sticking out to you like?
No, I don't see any like cracked welds or nothing. I'm just going. We'll let Brad get on the suspension, but I'm just checking to see if we see anything that's
Super
obvious.
blatant,
Yeah, that's obvious. Yeah, I don't see anything obvious. So gonna have to let Brad start measuring stuff, and then I'd say he'll just recall at the back. Restart it.
Think it's successful?
Yeah.
You broke one of them rod ends? I guess that one?
Yeah, the top rod end.
Okay. Wow. Those are mild steel rod ends, so.
Do you have any chromoly or no?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, we do.
Can we swap those out?
We can, but.
There's a worse swap. Well, I mean, they're worn out anyway. You can grab them and move them, and the ball's wore out inside there. The hymen is.
Yeah. I'll swap them out, but. You made it pass exactly like it sits right now?
Yes. And it was horrible.
What did it do?
It went left, it went right, and did the hokey pokey. And
Well, you also took them out.
what's that?
I said, when did you take them out?
So that helped a lot.
Yeah.
Helped absorb the tire.
Yeah.
I know we talked about that Edgewater.
Well, we talked about it last year about
Yeah.
taking them out.
Well, and then Corey showed me a video where it bounced real hard.
Yeah.
Swanstrom, he said, dude, take those out. And he goes, Brad told you to take them out. I said, I know.
Well, we talked about it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helped.
No matter what,
just
no matter what
we
a crew
just-
chief says,
we just
it don't
never
mean
did.
shit till somebody else says it. Once somebody else says it, it's a good idea.
Well, we took them out, and it absorbed it a lot. But
Soften the hit on the wheelie bar.
yes, a lot.
Well, let's put the tires back on. I want to sit it on the scales real quickly. Turn it and see where it's currently at. And then we'll go from there. Was it going right off the starting line? Okay. That's just, you got a shit ton of preload in it right now.
So what, right rear.
Yeah, so it was 700 on the back left before, now it's 770. So before you had a 125 pound difference left to right, and right now you have a, what was that, 250? Yeah, 245 pounds left to right, and before it was 126. So you have twice as much weight on the back left tire with where you currently got the bars set up. Yeah, that'll make it go right hard. Yeah. So, okay, let me twist some bars around. Get back. Nah, just stay in there.
Listen, 10 Soldiers is very accommodating. I want to thank you guys for accommodating even my crew chief. He couldn't wash his hands before, and you guys put a booster stool underneath the sink just for him.
It's on! It's on! There's plenty of season left. The overall weight of the car went up 60 pounds since Tony eats more Twizzlers than he does anything else. Yeah. So we got to work on that.
What do I do?
The whole overall weight of the car went up 60 pounds.
It's the wrap.
And that's with the nose off of
It's
it.
the wrap.
That right there compensates.
The
Tit for tat.
scales are off.
Oh,
Where's
Twizzlers,
cat
bro.
scales?
I get you.
He does have Twizzlers every time I'm over there. I like going over there to get the Twizzlers.
This week, a huge bag of Twizzlers.
He's just gonna have to. He's gonna have to increase
Like
his
the
budget.
mega bag or something like
That's no
that.
problem. We
Get Brad to come.
All races,
We have
that's
them
their
way there.
problem.
Hate 'em all.
They ain't got the brand.
The anti-roll bar was using, because basically when you're putting weight on that back left tire, it's trying to lift the driver's side of the car up.
Yeah.
So you're trying to tilt the car, you're tilting the back left up and the back right down.
Yeah.
So then the anti-roll bar is having to work harder.
You launched. Yeah, when you launched, it said no. I'm done.
Yeah, that mild steel 3/8, little bitty 3/8 rod end said, nah, I've had enough.
Not today.
So, look, this is neutral. See out 683? Now watch, this is one flat of preload. Let's see how to do this one. It was like 15 pounds.
Yeah.
It moved over there. Now this is 2 flats. So that's about where it was at before. 2 flats of preload. So just 2 flats moved
Make that much of a difference.
27 pounds onto the back left. Moved. You didn't just put 27 pounds there. You took 27 pounds off of this tire and moved it onto that tire with just 2 flats of preload.
That's crazy.
So let's see how many flats it takes to get to 770. That's 2, 3, 4.
Still
5, 6. I'm still not there.
Still ain't that good. Nice.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
778, 780, 701. Man, that's crazy. I could feel this tire moving.
Moving?
Yeah. As you're doing that.
But yeah, so say it's going left, you come to this bar and you just lengthen it. So the back rod end, or the back bung is right-hand thread, and the one on the front, you see how it's got a groove in it?
Yeah.
That groove means left hand.
Okay.
So that signifies that that's a left-hand thread. So if you look at the back bung back here, which we should have flipped these bars around. I normally put the hex forward.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit easier to see. But anyways, if you just lengthen this bar 1 flat, like there, you see, now it's got 730 on the back left. So we just added 20 pounds to the back left tire by just lengthening that bar 1 flat.
And that's the only bar in here you should ever have to mess with if it's going left or right.
Yep.
I'll have to go in the office and check.
It's going left,
You need more weight on the back left tire to make it drive right.
so you lengthen.
Yep.
So left, you lengthen, right, you tighten.
What day of the week is it on?
Correct.
Hey, that's good.
Yep.
I'm about.
Yep. If it's going left, lengthen this bar. If it's going right, tighten the bar.
We just texted me
Yep. So it's easy.
And only do baby increments like 1 flat.
1 flat is normally is all the change I'll make between passes, and then make another pass and be like, okay, what's still going left? We can go 1 more flat.
Don't make a big drastic change going 3 flats or something.
Now, I tune very conservative, so I like to make very small changes between rounds. Yeah, like if I'm tuning, like, say if we go 100 60 foot, well, I'm probably gonna try to go 990 next round, and then 980 the next round. You know what I mean? I'm only trying to pick up like a number. If we go, say a 4.0 to the 8th, next pass I'm probably gonna try to go like a 498 or a 497. You know, like just pick it up a little bit at a time.
Gotta take a big bite out of it.
Yeah, well, because then you make a big bite and it doesn't go down the track, and you learn nothing.
You nothing. You wasted that.
Yeah,
pass.
and if you're in eliminations, you just completely threw everything away.
Yeah.
So, and I marked all these bars. I put silver Sharpie marks on the bottom.
Yeah.
Except for this one. So this one is now up here on the side because I marked it when it was neutral.
Right.
So you can see it's 2 flats longer than neutral.
It's gonna bring it back.
So to get this bar back to neutral, you would rotate it back to the bottom to match all the other bars. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, when you set this up, you set it on the ground? Or
Yeah,
you set everything hanging?
No, I set everything on the ground because that's how I set it up here in the shop.
Okay.
But once I mark it, so like I showed him that I marked the bars. So like this top right bar, if you go to it, you can see I marked all 4 bars pointing downwards, like if you're laying underneath the car. So now like I marked this bar neutral, and then you can see it's it's lengthened 2 flats. So now that mark is pointing like up and to the left.
Okay.
So now, like if you want to add or subtract a flat of preload, you just go to that bar and you just move it 1 flat either direction.
Okay.
That should be all you have to do to get the car to go right or left.
When you set your anti-roll, do you set it hanging or do you set it on the ground with the driver in it?
Well, so once you set your 4-link preload, it'll hold the rear end where you want it, and then you can neutral the anti-roll bar back out.
Okay. Do you do it hanging or do you do it on the ground?
It doesn't matter. The anti-roll bar really doesn't matter because the 4-link will like hold the rear end in place,
Okay.
and then you can set the anti-roll bar either one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The only reason I'm at like on Fox Body, whoever's driving,
Well, Fox body,
the car,
a Fox body, you have to do it with the driver in the car because there's no preload in the 4-link, so the 4-link doesn't hold it. So the only way you can set a Fox body is with the car sitting on the ground with the driver in it.
Okay.
This is a little bit different because you can actually, like if you got the rear end hanging here and you start preloading that bar, the rear end will start doing this.
Right.
Or this. You can physically twist the rear end in the car.
Right.
And that's what you're doing is you're basically twisting the rear end like this, which is putting more weight on the back left tire.
Okay. And you always set your anti-roll neutral.
Yeah, well, so I normally go neutral and then I take the slop out of it. I lengthen it like, so you'll have like a little bit of slop where you can go like a flat either direction.
Yeah.
And I normally just take the slop out of it towards the long side.
Okay.
Just so that, because it's going to try to roll like that,
Right.
so that way it doesn't have the slop to roll like it's already tight when it goes to roll against it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kind of takes the slop out of the chassis.
Okay.
The anti-roll bars on these things really don't make like a huge difference because you're doing all your preload with the 4-link bars. They're really there just to take stress off of the 4-link rod ends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like to keep everything from getting bound up.
Right.
The anti-roll bars just taking stress off of everything. Because otherwise, like you didn't have an anti-roll bar in there when it would launch, not only would you be trying to push the car to a sub 1 second 60 foot, but you're also twisting it up. So all them rod ends in the 4-link are like,
Yeah. Right.
yeah. So the anti-roll bar is just taking some of that pressure away.
Okay.
You're basically splitting it between the anti-roll bar and the 4-link bars.
Okay.
I put a flat of preload in that, or not a flat, I put a whole turn of preload in that and couldn't get it to 770 on the back left. It was still only at like 750, wasn't it, Doug?
Yeah.
6 flats of preload I put in it, and it still wasn't at where it was when I first set it on the scales.
It's like somebody just went to town. Let's just put it here.
That's why I set the preload with the car on the ground. Because if you're just twisting bars with it in the air, you can tilt the rear end as far as you want and there's no resistance to it.
Okay.
But when it's sitting on the ground with the driver in it, you can feel, okay, well that's neutral.
Right.
And then you start lengthening the up top right bar and it starts getting tight. Like I could barely get it to, I'm like, turning
So when
that
you
thing.
said you guys were putting it in neutral, it's when the car was lifted up, so it wasn't truly in neutral.
Everything was-
And then when you put it back down, it wasn't tightening, it was already tight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything we were checking was all hanging.
Yeah, I don't set them hanging because, like I said, there's no resistance on the rear end when it's hanging. So if you set it neutral hanging, you're basically just setting it neutral to where the shocks are hanging
Yeah.
Okay.
from, not from where the car's sitting at ride height.
Okay.
You know?
Come get the car fixed and go to school. No, I mean, that's shit we need to know.
Yeah.
So if we're out in a bind and we're in Idaho and it's 1:30 in the morning, I know you guys say to call you, but
Yeah.
I also know you have lives, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I
Well-
don't want to just blow you up over something that...
So if you're messing with it, just put the Pro-Jacks under the rear end housing. So that way the car's at weight, like at ride height, and then have Tony hop in there, and then you should be able to. I don't know if it'll get you 100%, but it'll be a lot closer than the rear end hanging.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never tried to do it that way. I don't know how it would affect it being versus sitting on the wheel, on the tires versus sitting on the Pro-Jacks.
Well, I think...
But at least if you got the weight of
on
the
it.
car sitting on the rear end housing, it should be really close.
Well, I think from now on, we'll just send you video and say,
Yeah.
what do you want us to do?
The other thing you could do is throw a set of them in the trailer, and where you could set the car down on it and slide underneath of it.
Yeah.
Them things are handy for that.
Yeah, I'll probably just go ahead and order some.
Yeah.
I got good scales, so
Yeah.
we'll just start taking our scales with us.
Yeah. I mean, that's an easy way to do it, like if you're at the racetrack,
Yeah.
is so I set the blocks up on top of my scales and then re-zero the scales.
Right.
So that you subtracting the weight of the block, and then set the car down on it. But it's nice because that way you can slide up underneath of it and mess with stuff while the car's sitting on the scales.
Right.
The new shop, we got a 4-post lift for me to set up cars on.
Nice.
I'm gonna be spoiled.
Huh.
What are you going to do?
What?
How you going to act?
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
The big brain has all the answers.
He does, man. These guys keep bailing me out.
Hey, you can take your fuel jug back, man.
Well, that's why we came down.
Yeah.
We just wanted to get the fuel jug. We brought the car for you to look at. Yeah, I even brought different shocks because I'm like, man, maybe something's fucked up with the shocks. Maybe, like everything. Of course, everything's going through your head at this point because it just continuously got worse and worse. So then we're like, all right, let's throw more power at it. Maybe that'll fix it. Then let's throw less power at it. Maybe that'll fix it.
throwing more power at it normally doesn't fix it. They normally drive worse.
It did. Way worse.
Yeah. Yeah, just going slow will band-aid a bad case.
Yeah.
When you start really trying to get after it is when they rear their ugly face if you got something wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's what was happening. Is okay, so now we're really trying to get after it. Here you are.
How you feel about it all now, Doug?
Hey, I'm getting some understanding of what I'm looking at finally.
That's really all it's about, is getting to understanding. People, seriously, dude, they're scared to death of a 4-link.
That was my buddy Jim.
Oh,
I was just telling him what all we found with it. He said, "Holy shit!"
That was our buddy Corey trying to make us go fast.
well, in everybody's defense, there's a lot of different ways to make one of these things go down the racetrack.
Oh yeah.
And some people's ways work for them, and that's awesome. And some people's ways don't.
Here's the way I look at it. Man, they were trying to help me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what a team.
Yep.
And
And it may be different for each car.
It is.
So
at lower power, it worked.
yes,
It went straight.
it went
after they got
straight.
done.
But then once we start cranking power, it just had too much on the driver's side tire.
Well, and honestly, this is a great thing for you. This would be helpful because now, like, I feel like you do have a little bit better understanding
No,
of what's
absolutely,
happening.
absolutely.
And you've seen it, like when I was racing dirt bikes, and I got to a point where I needed to understand suspension better, right? Like I was a good enough rider that that was my next thing. So my buddy, he was really good at dialing suspension in. So he took me to the racetrack and we started riding, and he took the front end and he went all the way opposite. He's like, ride it. And when I rode it, he's like, what did that do? And I told him. He's like, okay, so now you know if you need to back that off, why it does that. You know what I mean? And then we did it the other way. He's like, now we're going to go all the way opposite this way with the rebound or whatever it was. And like, man, I learned so much that day because I seen how it affected it.
Right.
Which that's kind of what happened.
Well, this is the first time I drove a car with that much rear steer in it. Like, and it was like on the big end, I cut gas and I felt like I was on ice.
Yeah.
So now I know what I'm looking for when I'm feeling
Yeah.
on the rear suspension. Good. So he's definitely explained it a whole lot. So I said I get it fixed and I get to go to class all in the same day.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
What are you buying us? I mean, this probably
Where are we going?
This ain't gonna cost you anything, I don't think, but you're gonna have to buy us lunch.
Where are we going?
That sounds like a deal.
That sounds like a hell of a deal. Where are we going?
I don't care. What do you want, bro? I don't care. Rick said he wanted Chipotle.
You want Chipotle?
Yeah.
Chipotle's my life.
Go to Minnesota untested. We gotta.
Nah, you need to sit it down.
All right. See what Rob says. Hey Rob, Jason and Brad said
Jason and Brad want to come test a car.
Yeah, we'll tell what car it is.
Just a car.
How'd you know I was back at 10 soldiers? He answered the phone, back at 10 soldiers.
Jimmy Dale's calling.
Well, see, the way my car was set up was I screwed it up and they had to refix it.
He went from 10 soldiers to having plastic soldiers work on it.
Well, we kind of had to. I had a bar coming, some tire shaking. I threw it way out, and then I had some help, but it just wasn't right. The car was driving a little wonky. So, and we're supposed to leave for Minnesota either tomorrow night or Wednesday morning. So I was calling, buddy, friend. Well, I was calling to see if there was any way we could make a couple of test hits. Just, we don't need to go far. We just really need some 330 hits to make sure that it's going to leave for me. All right, thanks, buddy. You just try for 1 to 5. Well, it's all good. Brad fixed it, and I didn't get yelled at. That's winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Power's on, isn't it?
That's all Doug, buddy. That's all Doug.
This has been highlighted today. Jason ripped it out of my hand. He had all that power.
Yeah, this crew chief just BAM!
Now, since he's going left like that, you're going to put one flat of tight.
Lengthen the top right bar, one flat.
I would say right is righty, tight. Left is the length.
Let's go get it.
Okay.
Fixed it. BBB fixed it. Just need to make a little bit of adjustment. See the track trick? Like, I mean, you can see the car drove, but yeah, he's gonna adjust the 4-link just a hair. That's something to work with. You know what I mean? Yeah. It drove relatively straight, so that's how all this stuff is, man. Like, people want to hit it right the first time. That's not the proper way to do it. You know, you square everything up, you get it, and then you adjust from there.
Computer.
Hey, dude, the body's not hot. That was the best it's went in 3 weeks.
Hey, Tony,
Jason, you watching?
it's gonna be okay.
I love you guys.
It's gonna be okay, bud. She had to muscle it.
Put it back any other way, I bet, huh?
Listen, Red Bull. There's no Red Bull drag racers. We're here. I never got a Red Bull helmet when I was racing dirt bikes, but I'm willing to wear one now. If you don't know what you're looking at with the naked eye, you can't see it. But
Track tells a lot, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. Well, now you know we got the chassis happy, but now this is where it's like, can you set up my race car? But it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's like, if they're having an issue with their car, I mean, I talk to people every day. They're like, it's like, oh, my chassis setup's wrong. Well, then you start asking them other questions. Well, what's the gear ratio? What's this? So, well, that's what's wrong with it, man. You know, like, it's just not the magical bars in the back. You know, there's so much more. tough when you don't have full control over something. You know, you're just more consulting, so you're just, you know, it's not your decision.
Yeah.
So that's why it's fun to race your own car.
Yeah. How you feel overall about it, Tony?
Dude, I'm ecstatic. The help that we got from everybody at 10 Soldiers and Victor over at Victory Wiring, man, I was out in left field. I was lost. I was literally, I don't quit nothing. And I was at a point when I talked to Jason, I'm like, Jason, I don't know if I can do this. He says, get the car down here. Brad said the same thing. So, dude, I'm ecstatic. They helped me out more than anybody will ever understand. Physically, mentally, they're there. Like they call and check on me. You can't ask for a better partner. So for me, I'm very grateful to have them in my corner. And overall today was a huge success. We finally made it down the racetrack. I didn't have to pedal 8 times before the 1-2 shift, so I'm great.